Hi everybody. Today I'm gonna show you how you can use float variable in Unreal Engine. Previously show about integer. So I create a variable in third person blueprint map, and then I make it float. You can change your variable in here, float, integer, name, string, and whatever you want. So you can see there is a lot of variable option, and if you alter and control press alter and control, you can see detail about integer and other variable. So float is just floating point. You can add point, you can add number after point. So I add float, and you can see 0, 0.0. We can add 500, we can add 5,000,000, 500,000. It doesn't matter. You can add same number as integer, but the benefit is you can add point after that. So 500,000.3 or 5.3 or 5.3529, etc, etc. You can see I can add any number I want after the point. Compile and save. So we can get and set the float variable as previous variable, and I say you that I told you that set is we can set the value, and get is what the value have, we can uh, get the value. So just add a print string and add the float, and we have 0 value, but we can add 50.55, and the same value will show if we play 50.55. You can see that. So now we can add other things and we can test it. So I add event teeth, and I add float as a set, and I add delta second, and I add print string here, and I add print string value to the float. Now if I play, it will show every frame delta second run. You can see 0.12, 0.01234, something like that, and it running after every frame. So we can use it as a like float. We make a point minute second in float in integer. We can do it in our float also. So I add a float as a get, add plus, and add delta second as a plus. Now it will be 51, 52, 53. It run in every second with microsecond, because we set our default value as 50.55. That's why it's running like that. But if we add to 0, it will run with 1. We can disconnect the delta second, and we can add separately add the delta second, get all delta second. Both work same way. I just show you the option. Compile and save. Now if we play, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4 with microsecond. So we can add our minute second in game like this if you want, using float. But we can also do it in our integer, which I show you previously. Now I go to the bb third person character, and I add a float, and the variable type is float. Compile and save, and I go to the bb collect. Previously we use integer, but we can use float. I just want to show you that. So set float, which we created in our third person character. Now get float, and I just add a plus 1 value, and it will do the same thing. Plus add 1, and add with the float, add with distractor. Compile and save, and now we add a few function like we had previously. Add a sequence. Now add the get player character and cast the bp third person character. I add a event begin play cast to third person pp third person character. I make it a pure cast, so I don't need to add any node in here. Now I add get float, and I add equal to 3. If it's equal to 3, then I add a branch b mouse left button, and if I can collect 3 bots, then it will print a string. And what will it did? We collect 3 bots or whatever you write in here. Compile and save. Now if we play it, add 3 bots first. 1, duplicate it, alter and mouse left button and drag, it will duplicate. So collect 1 bots, collect 2 bots, and collect 3 bots. It will show we collect 3 bots, and it will also show the second microsecond because we add it in event it. So there are a lot of use of it, and use of float, which we can use in our game. That's why it's in variable section. So I just add get. We can also add plus, minus, like add, subtract. So I add a default value to 5, and I add a plus. I add 10, and I set the float value, and I add with the float. So 5 plus 10, it will make 15, but it will not run because we don't add the print string. So we need to add print string. So I add a print string. I get the float, I add it, compile and save, play. It will print 15. So we can change the value, we can change the, like, we can add subtract or something like that. So I add 55.5 and 10.5, it will print like 16. So we are adding the point 16. So you can see now. We can also give 10.7, it will 16.2, it will print 16.2. So this is the 16.2, you can see it. So there is a lot of use of float. When I go to the further tutorial, you will see the float user. Mainly we use it in a hard, like health or something like that. So that is for today's tutorial. Bye bye everybody, see you in next tutorial.